All right, family. Black Power. Black Power is the true power with General Sarah Soon said he kick back, get your mind ready for some information that's guaranteed to be heavy. I'm excited and delighted to not only be accepting members to the Sarah Soon Seti YouTube page, General Seti YouTube page, two dynamic powerhouses, Black Power, Education, Entertainment. This is the place to be. We got memberships for your family. You should check it out. Link right in the description is in the video. It's in the chat. It's on the screen right there. All you have to do is click it. You'll get a video introduction rundown on the membership, what they entail. You see one you like, you should most definitely join. Even if you don't, I appreciate your presence here at the Sarasun Seti YouTube page. Continue to engage, continue to advance. That's right, family. Ring the alarm, kingseti.com, online marketplace, official General Sarasun Seti DVD lectures, t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, African and Kemetic jewelry, holistic tonics and remedies, home decor accessories for every room in the house. I got something for you, family. I know you're going to like and love. Shop and save and shop. That's right. Pull the fire alarm, generalseti.com, SETI University. We talking about over 2,500 videos, 40 different subjects, all the subjects that you know and love from the general, the two raw for YouTube, when Egypt ruled the earth, global Kushite empire, Olmec, voyages of the Nile, ancient America, the black woman is God, to make white man, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, all the isms exposed, family, and much, much more. I want you to get on over there. We got the Grandmaster teachers. There is no other website, nowhere on the planet that can compare or compete. You should become a member today. And everybody knows SETI popping on Patreon. BPC making noise. We never come. We talking about exclusive live streams only to be seen on the Patreon platform. They fire, you feel me? Gems and jewels for the African family. You need access to this. We got over 5 different tiers. No matter which one you join, you're guaranteed you're going to eat. You're going to eat well. There's already a treasure chest of gems waiting on you when you, whatever tier you sign up with, it's already a treasure waiting on you right now. So join the day, family, and get access to that very exclusive dynamic material. And to all the family out there donate to the general, I thank you. I appreciate you. And to all the family out there would like to donate, the link is right there on the video description. Is in the chat. All you have to do is click it. It's in the chat. All you have to do is click it, donate. I thank you and I appreciate you. And I thank you again. Make sure you subscribe to all my YouTube my YouTube page is General Seti, Sarasun Seti, King Seti. Rock that notification bell. Get a video a thumbs up. Like it because you love it. Share with your family and friends and comment. Just don't say nothing stupid because I will ban your ass. All right, crazy facts about the Bible that will blow your damn mind. Blow it right on up out your cranium. And so we was dealing with, and we had a little hiccup in because they knew I was about to blow up on their ass. And so they tried to take me up off of here, family, but I'm back. And so we talking about some very crucial dates. And yeah, Brother Ray say ain't no dates in the Bible. Yes, it is. The wrong dates. We're gonna get all wrong. And so we're gonna straighten them out today so you can get clarity to understand that you are more ancient than the Bible. You are far more ancient than anything in the Bible. And though the Bible has some facts here and there, and they do that, they can't tell all the lie. They got to give you some of the truth, and they surround it with the lies. And so we go in there, we get the truth, we rescue the truth, and then we get ghosts. We up out of there. Because after that, it's all confusion. And so I have to start with the date so you can get some clarity on, that the Bible, man, that as far as a chronological foundation, man, they in a state of confusion. This is somebody just crawled out the cave because nobody in their right mind would believe that the world is started in 4000 BC. I mean, goddamn, you got kings on the throne 4000 BC. That's real talk. You got kings sitting on thrones in Nubia at 4000 BC. This is facts. You know, the evidence is there, the tombs, the materials. You know, the Egyptians invented the calendar. So we know. So I mean, how in the hell you right, Ray? The Bible doesn't, because the Israelites didn't have no calendar. They didn't have no calendar. That's why when it come today, you can go to the walls in Egypt and you can see the calendars on the wall. You feel me? You can see the calendars there. Not only the 365-day calendar was created in Egypt, you understand astronomy, astrology and cosmology and all the art forms that come out of this celestial heavens, come out of ancient Egypt. So what we have to understand that, the date that is given, this is not a date that comes from General Seti. This is not a date that comes from any African scholars. This is a date directly from Judaic, Christian, Islamic scholarship. This is the date that they give the creation of the world at 4004 BC. 4004 BC. Goddamn, man, you got you got damn near pyramids is damn near that damn old. You see, damn near got pyramids that old. And so, at that time, civilization is highly advanced in Africa. 4000 BC, civilization is highly advanced in Africa at that time. But this is the date that they give the beginning of the world. So God created the world in 4004 BC. And that's one critical date. The next critical date is 2348 BC. Now, this is when the flood happens. So from 4004 to 2348 BC is what you call the pre-Diluvian world. And see, that's the area, that's the gray area for them, that they don't have no footprints on this planet. And so what they did is that they needed a reason to wash that away. You understand? Even though the age is only 2,000 years, see, they need to wash that pre-Diluvian age away because they don't have no footprints there. Okay, and I'm gonna show you that. And so they wanted to wash away all. And like I said, it's Africans got at least 1 million years of history on this planet, at the minimum. At the minimum, we got 1 million years of history on this planet. And so what they wanted to do, they want to get rid of that. You see, and I'm gonna show you how they force fitted, these ancient civilizations in the Bible. But see, the thing is, you can't, the lie is gonna expose itself. If the teacher, see, you're dealing with one who knows and who's been studying these scriptures and for over 40 years. I've been studying. You see, so we got these critical dates. Now the pre-Diluvian world, see, that world, that's not the world we living in according to the Bible. That world is past. You see, we in the post-Diluvian world. So even though the world was created at 4004 BC, that world is over. God washed that world away. So we living in the post-Diluvian world after the flood. Okay. And so, your date of creation is 2348 BC. And so that would make the world 4,373 years old, from 2348 BC to 2025 AD. The current date is 4,373 years old. Egypt is that old alone. I mean, Egypt is older than that. Egypt is older than the world, man. I'm just gonna be real. I'm just singling out Egypt as one institution, African institution. that lasted over 4,000 years. And so Egypt alone is older than the world, according to the Bible. Now let's get busy. Now let's get busy. So now let's deal with this. Just to show you how, according to the Bible, how more advanced the Africans in the Bible are to anybody else. Okay. Now, what you got to understand, first off, that according to the Bible, Egypt, Ethiopia, Mesopotamia, all of those civilizations were created after the flood. And I can show you that, and I'm gonna just deal with dates. I can crack that immediately. Okay, I can crack that with the Abydos Kings list. But so understand that Egypt, Ethiopia, Mesopotamia, all of those civilizations came after the flood. There isn't supposed to be an Egypt before the flood. Because how do we know that? Because only 8 people got on the Ark of Noah. Only 8 people. Noah, his wife, his 3 sons, and their wives. That's 8 people. And so you talking about the 3 sons of Noah, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Okay, Japheth. And so Egypt and Ethiopia are the sons of Ham. So Egypt and Ethiopia wasn't born until after the flood. So they say, but that's where the problem comes. That's where the problem comes, because we can prove beyond any reasonable doubt that Egypt is far. And once you prove that, that just cracks the Bible. You see, it's no longer you can imprison the history of Egypt and Ethiopia into the Bible, because Egypt and Ethiopia are supposedly the grandsons of Noah. But if Egypt and Ethiopia is tens of thousands of years older than Noah, then the lie falls apart at that very moment. You see, the lie falls apart at that very moment. Now let's look at this. Let's look at this now. Let's look at this. Now, let's look at this. Now, Abraham. Let's deal with Abraham. I'm going to show you how old Egypt is in the Bible. The first time you hear the mention of Pharaoh. Now, the first time you hear the mentioning of Pharaoh is during the time of Abraham. Now, Abraham lives approximately 300 years after the flood. Okay, 300 years after the flood. And so I believe he was, it was 422 years between the flood and Abraham leaving Chaldea, going into Canaan, going into Egypt. That's 422 years after the flood. When he gets to, you have to understand, automatically there's a nation called Egypt already in existence. So understandably, at 300 years after the flood, there's already Egypt. You see, 300 years after but we have to understand, where did the population come from? 300 years, where did the fucking population come from to establish a nation? Now, 300 years is a decent amount of time, but it's not enough coming from 8 people now. That's not enough time for no motherfucking nation coming from no 8 goddamn people. Okay, let's be clear about that. But already 300 years after the flood, there's a Pharaoh, there's Egypt, there's Ethiopia. And the thing what I want, and I'm showing you this so you can see how they done took an ancient culture, millions of years old, and force fitted it into this mythology. You see, because they don't have no history. So this mythology is their history. Okay, but they want to be the chosen people, which means they got to lie about our history. And so they have to force fit an ancient culture into their story, but it just don't work. You see, because too many times the truth gonna spill out. And that's what's happening here. So the thing is, when you notice in the Bible, when it talks about the sons of Noah, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, when they speak of the sons of Ham, those are nations. You see, you say Ethiopia, that's a nation. It says the land of Ethiopia, even in Genesis, the land, it's a nation already. Egypt, Canaan, you see, Punt, Sheba, all of these what do you say, Mesopotamia, and all these are nations. Okay, so soon as they come up off the ark, you know, it's like the Africans just jumped into nationhood. It was like they was light years more advanced than the other two brothers. Okay, and so whereas when Abraham, who lives 300 years later, 300 years after the flood, it wasn't until 1,000, now 300 years after the flood would place it almost at 2000 BC. So when Abraham comes into Egypt, it's about 2000 BC. So that's 300 years after the flood. Already in Egypt. Already in Egypt. Now, the Israelites do not produce a nation until 1000 BC. That's almost damn near a millennium later, or even according to the Bible. You understand what I'm saying? Look at that. I want y'all to look at that. I'm gonna say it again. 300 years after the flood, when Abraham leaves Chaldea, again, that's the Hamite. They are already in nationhood. How the fuck is the African, the Hamites, they just light years more advanced than any of the other brothers. They're already into nation. Wherever you look, the Hamites is already into nationhood. But it takes the Israelites, it takes the Semitics damn near 1,000 years later to produce a civilization. When the first king of Israel, Saul, sits on the throne, 1000 BC. Okay, and Abraham is in Egypt at 2000 BC, and there's already a Pharaoh sitting on the throne. So even based on the Bible, that the Africans was light years ahead of the Israelites, the Semitics in the Bible. You know why? Because really it's a created mythology that the Africans was already more ancient. You see, they were already more ancient. They was millions of years older than anything in the book. You see, so they didn't know how to address the situation other than by saying the nation of Egypt, the nation of Ethiopia, the nation of Chaldea. But the Israelites, again, did not produce a nation until 1000 BC. So right there, it shows you that the Africans, even according to the Bible, is at least a millennium. And so we know it's even greater than that. But even in the Bible, that Egypt, Ethiopia is 1000 years older, 1 millennium older than the state of Israel. Okay. And so that's very significant that we understand that. Okay. Abraham comes into Egypt around 1920 BC. That's the same thing. Right around 2000 BC. Okay. So anybody that tells, and so Moses, wait a minute, when did Moses come into the picture? I'm going to show you when Moses come into the picture. Okay. I'm going to show you when Moses come into the picture. How many years after, because Moses is around 1200 BC. because he supposedly dealt with Ramesses. So even there, Egypt, even according to the Bible, even when Moses said Moses was born in Egypt. Okay, Moses was born in Egypt right around 1200 BC. But even according to the Bible, by the time Moses was born, it was already a millennium. You know, you even still talking about a millennium. You see, you're almost talking about a millennium. You're talking about 1,000 years, even according to the Bible. You know, that Egypt was 1,000 years old. So how in the fuck is how you gonna be the author of the history of Egypt and already 1,000 years have passed before you born? Noah didn't know it, and we know he's a mythology. You see, that's why you cannot explain Egypt by way of the Bible. You see, you can't explain Egypt by way of the Bible. You have to go to the historians of Egypt to explain our history. Okay, you got to go to the and let me see. I had Noah, Moses in there, but I don't see him. I had him, but I know it was around 1200 BC. So even according to the Bible, Egypt again, and Ethiopia was older than Egypt. You know, Ethiopia was older than Egypt. And so they hiding these facts. You see, these motherfuckers were still living in tents. You see, they were still living in tents when they come into Egypt, because the Pharaoh asked him, and he said, man, what is y'all occupation? He said, when Jacob came into Egypt, the Pharaoh asked him, what is your occupation? And he said, God damn it, we've always, you see, yeah, we've always been tending shepherds, you know, tending to the sheeps and shit. They ain't never been nothing but shepherds. They didn't know nothing about it. And even when they went into Canaan, which they did not create, they never created a civilization, because all they did was usurp the infrastructure of Canaan. They did not change any of the names of the cities. Jerusalem was Jerusalem in the land of Canaan. Bethlehem was already the name in the land of Canaan. These are Canaanite names. Jerusalem is named after Jebus, and they didn't even change that. They adopted the Canaanite language. That's exactly so. Ain't no Hebrew. Motherfuckers keep talking about and I don't understand why people keep lying and shit. There is no language called Hebrew. If you go in the Bible, it is referred to as the language of Canaan. You never hear in the Bible where it says anything about the language of the Hebrew. They didn't have no language. You see, they did not have no fucking language. And so we have to establish that everything that they got, they co-opted from the Africans. So you niggas can keep reading this book talking about you some Hebrew Israelites and you this and you that. You's a damn lie. You's a damn lie. And so we and I'm gonna tighten these dates up. But they is what it is, you know. And the crazy thing, what was that one date I was gonna bring up? It was another date that I was gonna bring up that's very significant. You see, it was another date that I was gonna bring up that was very significant. But this is just the beginning of that. They didn't even sit their first king on the throne until 1000 BC. You see, 1000 BC, Saul sits on the throne, and already Abraham, damn near, you know, Abraham in 19, what was it, 22? He was in Egypt, and Pharaoh was already sitting on. So I mean, it don't even make no sense for people to even make any type of comparison. The thing is, what I have to understand, and I'm trying hard to understand this, is why. Because we talking about Noah's sons, they all got off the goddamn boat at the same time. Yeah. All three brothers got off the boat at the same time. How did the Africans get so far ahead of the other two brothers? How did the Hamites, the Camites, get so far ahead of the Shemites and the sons of Japheth? And they all came off the boat at the same time. And when you study that, the reality is will start to sink in that this is a mythology where the Africans have been force fitted into a mythology. You see, that's starting right around the time. See, that time of 2,348, that's their beginning. That's not our beginning. That's their beginning right around. And that's when they come out the cave. You see, right around that time, 2000 is when they come out the cave. You see, and they really didn't, they didn't have no civilization. That's why that's the date when they come out the cave. 0 AD is when they get rolling. That's why they start with 0 AD. No man gonna start his calendar at 0 AD if he got some highlights preceding that. Why would he start his goddamn calendar in 0 AD and then start off? This is when he's really coming on the scene. So they really don't have no history before that. 2,300, the flood, the flood is when they came out the cave. You see, ain't no flood because the Egyptians are ruling for damn near 3,000 years. Ain't no damn flood that washed away no world, because we can go to the Abydos Kings list. If we go to the Abydos King list, we'll see that there are 76 kings on that throne. There's no break in. See, that's why they have to say, Egypt was born after the flood. That's a goddamn lie. Because the thing is, they found pharaohs in Nubia older than the Egyptian kings. You see, they didn't find where the Nubian culture is almost 800 years to 1,000 years earlier than the Egyptian culture. Okay, and so that's very significant that we explain that. So you can't even just start with Egypt. You have to start with Nubia, and you can go further up into the interior of Africa and get even more ancient dates, even than Egypt or Nubia. You feel what I'm saying? So that's very significant that we understand that. Very, very significant that we understand that. So it's no flood that washed away the world, because I mean, how could it be? How could it be? And then you think about it, that they start Egypt around so Abraham comes into Egypt around 2000 BC. Imagine building all them megalithic ass pyramids, and you coming from 8 people. You get off the boat at 2348 BC with 8 people. I mean, goddamn, you got to repopulate the planet. I mean, goddamn, you know what I'm saying? You got to repopulate the planet. Now, this is another date that's very significant that blow that shit out the water. Okay, now Joseph, we know the story of Joseph. He was in Egypt, and he asked Pharaoh to let his father and his brothers come into Egypt. They was in famine out there. And so when they come into Egypt, when did Jacob? I had that written down too. When did Jacob come into? I got to get my dates together. Yeah. When Jacob come into Egypt, the tribe is only 70 people. 70. And when Jacob comes into Egypt, that's almost let me get that. Let me get that. $422 years. That's what the 400. Okay. So from the period from the time period from the flood to Jacob is 422 years. That's what the 420. I got that wrong. So yeah, so from the time of the flood to Jacob. Now, when they come into Egypt, they was only 70 people. So they was only able to produce 70 people in over 422 years because they got off the boat with 8 people. And then when Jacob comes into Egypt 422 years later, they only 70 goddamn people. I mean, man, make this shit make sense. So how in the fuck did they, I mean, you tell me, how in the fuck did they build all them goddamn pyramids in that small amount of time? If Egypt came out and Ethiopia came after the flood, they came after 2348 BC. You got to imagine that they got to repopulate the planet before they get to pulling them big ass blocks. You gonna need hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people to build all them megalithic structures. When the Israelites came into Egypt, they was only 70 people. How in the fuck did they I wouldn't give a fuck if y'all was eating Viagra's like goddamn apples and grapes. Goddamn it, you ain't gonna goddamn populate the damn planet in no damn no few goddamn years like that. You see what I'm saying? You ain't gonna goddamn you ain't gonna build no goddamn pyramids in that small amount of time. And you got you got damn near over 100 some pyramids in Egypt. And you got over, 200 some in Nubia. Like I say, motherfucker laugh. I wouldn't give a fuck if motherfucker was eating Viagra's like goddamn M&Ms. You ain't gonna populate the world that fast in no small amount of time like that. So the reality is they lying. You cannot explain Egypt by way of the Bible. Don't even try. I appreciate y'all for being here tonight, family. I'm just getting started. Stay with me. I'm gonna do one more. Stay with me. I got some work I want to drop on y'all. We gonna go up into and I'm gonna get them dates together. I'm gonna tighten them up. We about to go up in the Caucasus Mountains, y'all. I'm gonna show you Adam and Eve, and I know this is gonna hurt you because a lot of people believe that the Adam and Eve of the Bible, niggas say they black and this, that, and I'm gonna show you that these is nothing but the troglodytes that then crawled out them caves up there in the Caucasus Mountains, and I'm gonna show this to you, and I know it's gonna hurt you. But I want you to grow, family. I want you to see this truth. This is General Sarasun Seti saying, hey, arm yourself with knowledge. If you're on here right now, I want you to goddamn hit the subscribe button. If you have not goddamn subscribe right now. And then I want you to like it right now. Don't get up off here without liking it, and share. Share it to your page. Drop it on your Facebook. Share whatever you can share so the family can get this work. I appreciate you, and I'll be right back. Arm yourself with knowledge. Bang on that wicked ass beast daily. Liberation through African education and confrontation. Black power.